doing, when we're skating, it's funny. Eric and I were talking, Eric Wellwood, not you, because you would know, but Eric Wellwood and I were talking the other day, and he said, what's funny, and I find being around this is I'm learning a lot from being around the younger kids and just seeing the different ages and where 1 year to the next makes a huge difference in development and skill, like everything, right? Because the one thing I've noticed is like he's a sports fan, he's a pretty good thinker, and he said I've noticed that like if you ask an NHL hockey player, let's say the Calgary Flames, I think that's where Lucic played last year. That's what came to my mind. If you say to someone like how, because he would be a bottom tier player in the NHL now, right? Not before game changed and stuff. If you ask an NHL player like, how good is Lucic? They would say, man, the guy is like, it would be all compliments. The guy's an animal. This shoots the puck, whatever, and it might confuse people because he's just a tough guy. If you ask a soccer player about his teammates or someone they play against, it's always complimentary because they respect a baseball player. Guy smashes a ball like no one's ever seen. You don't hear them say a guy's a shitty player. Whereas, and so this is something Eric recognized. Whereas he goes like, I'm finding like in developing the kids that there's a lot of negativity. Like, how's this kid? He's no good. He thinks he's good, but he's not. And it's almost always negative. Mm-hmm. So the conclusion that we've come to is that it's that drive in the car. It's that way home, right? Sitting around because number one, you're competing as kids. You're competing, so you might play against each other. You might be trying to get someone to recognize you rather than someone else. So the default is, and mostly it's the parents that impose that attitude
for sure,
right? So when they're young, they have a negative connotation to it. Whereas as you get older, you just respect the level of performance so much that to play in the NHL, if you've played one shift in the NHL, you're a good player, man. Period.
Yep.
So, anyways, my point to that was I always explain this to the kids is that when we have our junior skates and stuff, it's very funny because at some point they have to skate together because once you're done youth hockey, minor hockey, you have to skate somewhere now. And if you play for the Sudbury Wolves and you live in Windsor, well, you're not skating with your team because people are from all over the place, as everyone else is. If you play for the Edmonton Oilers and you come back home to Windsor, who are you skating with? So what happens is eventually you have to skate together or else you don't get to train.
Yeah.
So my point to this is what we have to do as parents and as coaches is to, when someone's a good player, find the things that are good and say, you know what? This kid can score goals, man. He's good at it. And you know what? You actually want to be happy for him because the bottom line is when you're 16, 17, 18, 19, that's the guy you're going to skate with. And if you don't have enough guys that are good and to skate with and that you can enjoy competing with on the ice and training with, then you have no one to train with and you can't be a hockey player. And the other thing is you might be on the same team in junior or college. So it was an interesting conversation, and something that I've always said to our guys is like our summer training here in our local stuff when we do our junior and stuff, it's to make everybody better. Like legit, it's a saying, but a rising tide raises all ships. And if we have guys that come here and they're jealous or they don't like each other and they don't want to skate with this guy and they all the negative stuff, well then no one really gets better. Mm-hmm. I want my 16-year-old to be on the ice with Zach Cassian. And go, man. Go at him hard. And you know who's good for? Both of you. Because Zach can see a hunger in a young guy's eyes. He's got to challenge himself. And vice versa.
Yeah.
And the older guys can show the younger guys and all the ways. And you're just teaching all kinds of different things. So at the end of the day, just be, and that's what I say. Like you want everybody on your team to do well. You want everyone to get drafted. You want your competitors to be the talk of every draft and stuff like that because now you got a place to go. And I'm going to tell you, there's everyone's on a different, obviously, wavelength. Some guys are going to peak a little early. Not even peak. They're going to be good early, and they're always going to be good. Some guys have to fight to get good. I've got some 19-year-old kids out there. Have you seen them? 6'4", 6'3", good, smaller guy, whatever. It doesn't matter. That are really good. That are so you don't have to be good at 16. But these guys are pushing each other. And there's still a future for the 18, 19-year-old kids that are out there that are pushing and working hard. And for my guys that are the 16, 17-year-old guys that things haven't happened yet. Like they're getting there. I'm telling you, they're getting there. It's staying at it and being around that environment and learning from each other, and they will get there. Now, I'm not saying you're playing in the NHL, but don't stop. But I'm telling you, man, you create a good environment where you're helping each other, competing with each other, happy for each other. Because when a local guy gets drafted in the first round of the NHL, everyone's happy.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to be part of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So,
that's a great point, because one of the other things that I remember realizing in school actually was like people would compete about like grades,
right?
Like who gets the better grades.
Yeah.
And there's enough for everyone to do well.
Yeah.
Like this is the point. Basically, what I'm pulling out of what you're saying is,
yeah,
everybody can succeed.
Yeah.
Though the odds are very low.
Yeah.
Someone else succeeding has nothing to do with whether or not you succeed.
That's right.
So by you like being mad at them or holding it against them or being jealous, envious, whatever word you want to use, there's nothing you can do.
Right.
Right. It has no effect on you how well they do. Like
right.
Because they get noticed, that doesn't mean they're taking your opportunity.
No, absolutely not.
That just means you aren't as good as them, or you haven't performed as well as them when it counts, or whatever the situation is. So like think of it, here's an example you could use. Like, so on your team, whoever the best player is, it's like, oh, they get all the notice, they get all the praise, they get all the opportunities, whatever. Okay, if you take that kid off your team,
yeah,
you're still not going to get noticed because you didn't get noticed with them on your team.
That's right.
So, and in fact, if they are actually a good player, it's probably more likely that you get noticed with them on your team.
That's right.
So it's a competition in the sense like you guys want to compete to make each other better, but you're not competing like trying to, like, I'm only happy for you if you don't do as well as me.
Happy
like,
for you, but not as long as it's not better than I do.
That's right. So it's just not the way that you train, because then, like you said, you need a place to go train that's high quality. And if you isolate yourself from groups like that,
yeah,
then you're not getting invited to play.